Welcome to Milwaukee's hardest brawler, the man who made folding chairs and bar stools question their life choices. This is Reginald the Crusher Lisowski, a polka-loving, beer-chugging, fist-swinging legend of the AWA. From the tough streets of South Milwaukee, Crusher turned his working-class grit into in-ring domination. Crowds didn't just cheer him, they feared him, not because of theatrics, but because he hit harder than Monday morning reality. He built a career around chaos, leaving opponents battered, bruised, and occasionally questioning why they got into wrestling in the first place. And yes, there was that arm injury in '81, a botched move by Jerry Blackwell that nearly ended the Crusher's career. But don't get it twisted, it didn't stop him. It just made him angrier, meaner, and even more of a Milwaukee legend. Today we're diving into his career, the matches, the madness, the moments that made the Crusher a household name in wrestling, beloved in Milwaukee, feared in Chicago, respected across America, and forever celebrated as the beer-chugging, cigar-chewing, polka-dancing brawler of the Midwest. Born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin in 1926, the Crusher, real name Reginald Lisowski, grew up in a blue-collar city where toughness was a way of life. Wrestling became his calling after excelling in amateur competitions during his youth, and by the late 1940s, he was stepping into the squared circle professionally. Lisowski cut his teeth in Midwestern territories, working in Wisconsin, Illinois, and Minnesota. Early on, he developed the brawling, no-nonsense style that would define his career. Heavy strikes, relentless aggression, and a crowd-pleasing charisma. Polka dancing and beer-chugging weren't just gimmicks, they became his signature, a bridge between real-life toughness and entertainment. In these formative years, he faced regional opponents in verified, high-intensity bouts. Feuds with local stars helped him rise quickly. Milwaukee and Chicago fans gravitated to his larger-than-life personality, while promoters recognized his ability to carry shows. Matches in Minneapolis and Detroit honed his stamina, in-ring psychology, and ability to draw crowds, giving him a reputation that extended beyond a single city. By the mid-1950s, Lisowski's name was synonymous with the Midwestern wrestling scene, blending authentic brawling with showmanship. Titles and regional recognition followed, but more importantly, he built the foundation for decades of legendary bouts. His early career was a blueprint: toughness in the ring, loyalty to fans, and a persona that made him unforgettable. By the late 1950s and early 1960s, the Crusher was a fixture in Midwestern territories, particularly in Milwaukee, Chicago, and Detroit. His style, a brutal mix of brawling, strikes, and relentless aggression, made him a feared opponent and a fan favorite. One of his earliest high-profile feuds was with Mad Dog Vachon, a verified shoot rivalry that drew massive crowds. Their battles were stiff and physical, a legitimate clash of two men who hated losing. In Milwaukee and Chicago arenas, these matches were known for their intensity, sometimes spilling into backstage confrontations, highlighting the genuine competitiveness of the era. Lisowski's knack for carrying matches and connecting with audiences earned him multiple regional championships. He captured the NWA World Tag Team titles in the Midwest alongside Dick the Bruiser, and individually, he held Midwest heavyweight and tag titles in promotions like AWA and NWA-affiliated territories. Each victory further cemented his status as the brawler fans loved to cheer and opponents dreaded to face. Other notable feuds included bouts with Vern Gagne, where skill met aggression, and Killer Kowalski, whose matches were both brutal and technically sound. These were not scripted heat storylines. The animosity was real, the strikes were hard, and the risk of injury was high, wrestling as a true combat spectacle, especially in Chicago and Detroit arenas. By the mid-1960s, the Crusher was no longer just a regional name. He was a Midwest legend, feared by opponents, adored by fans, and respected by promoters. His mix of charisma, brutality, and loyalty to fans ensured that every match was a must-see event. The partnership between the Crusher and Dick the Bruiser was a cornerstone of professional wrestling in the 1960s and 1970s. Their alliance was characterized by a shared brawler persona, making them fan favorites in the Midwest and beyond. Their first major success came in 1966, when they secured the AWA World Tag Team Championship by defeating the formidable duo of Larry Hennig and Harley Race in a 2 out of 3 falls match. This victory marked the beginning of a series of title reigns that would solidify their legacy. The duo's chemistry was undeniable, both in and out of the ring. They were known for their intense matches against teams like the Vachon brothers, including a notable steel cage match at Comiskey Park in 1970, where they faced off in a brutal contest that showcased their resilience and teamwork. Their partnership extended internationally, capturing the NWA International Tag Team Championship in Japan in August 1969, further demonstrating their appeal and dominance on a global scale. Throughout their careers, the Crusher and Dick the Bruiser amassed numerous tag team titles, including 6 reigns as the WWA World Tag Team Champions in Indianapolis. Their combined accolades and the sheer force of their presence made them one of the most formidable tag teams in wrestling history. Their enduring legacy was recognized in 2005 when they were inducted into the Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame as a tag team, cementing their status as legends of the sport. After dominating the tag team scene with Dick the Bruiser, the Crusher returned to gritty singles action, a place where his brawling style could shine. But it came at a cost. In the mid-1970s, Crusher faced Blackwell in a Midwest promotion match. During the bout, Blackwell delivered a move that botched the execution, driving Crusher's arm into an unnatural angle. The result was a serious arm injury that would never fully heal, limiting Crusher's ability to throw his signature lariat with the same force. The incident became notorious in wrestling circles, not because of drama or backstage tension, but because it was pure, unfiltered physical consequence. Interviews with peers, including Bruiser, recall Crusher's frustration. The man who could flatten opponents with a single blow was sidelined by a mistake beyond his control. Yet, true to form, Crusher adapted, modifying his style, relying more on forearm smashes, and keeping his beer-chugging, cigar-chewing persona alive in the ring. Though the injury was painful, it did not halt his career. He returned to feud with regional stars, defending his Midwest reputation and maintaining the aura of toughest brawler in town. The Blackwell arm incident remains a stark example of how one move, executed incorrectly, can have lasting consequences, even for a legend. His later career was less about climbing new peaks and more about consolidating his reputation as a fan favorite and locker room respected force. In the late 1970s and early 1980s, he continued to dominate in the American Wrestling Association, AWA, engaging in memorable bouts against opponents like Nick Bockwinkel and Bobby Heenan, showcasing a mix of toughness and showmanship that never felt outdated. Crusher's appeal wasn't just in wins and losses, it was in his personality. Polka dances after matches, beer chugs, and cigar-waving promos made him larger than life. Fans packed arenas in Milwaukee, Chicago, and Minneapolis just to see him in action, while younger wrestlers treated him as a blueprint for Midwest toughness. Even in his final wrestling years, he maintained a presence that elevated local promotions and drew attention whenever he stepped into the ring. His legacy extended beyond in-ring performance. The Crusher influenced countless wrestlers who sought to combine charisma with genuine physicality. Hall of Fame inductions, magazine covers, and feature interviews celebrated a career that wasn't just about titles. It was about leaving an indelible mark on professional wrestling culture. By the time he finally stepped away, the Crusher had become synonymous with the gritty, blue-collar style of wrestling that defined an era, cementing him as an enduring icon long after the cheers faded. The Crusher wasn't just a wrestler, he was a force of nature. Beer in hand, cigar lit, polka in motion, he made the Midwest care about wrestling in a way nobody else could. From bruising tag team chemistry with Dick the Bruiser to legendary feuds with Bockwinkel and Heenan, every punch, every slam, every moment in the ring screamed authenticity. Blackwell's arm-crushing incident may have left a mark, but it never slowed his spirit or charisma. He dominated arenas, inspired wrestlers, and left a legacy that's impossible to ignore. So, if you loved seeing the Crusher swing, slam, and celebrate like only he could, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and keep the legacy of Midwest wrestling alive. You don't want to miss a second of the chaos, the laughs, and the brutal unfiltered action that made the Crusher an icon. Like, subscribe and stay tuned for more wrestling legends who didn't just wrestle, they owned every arena they walked into. Thanks for your time today, and thanks for watching.